But we begin tonight at the state capitol and some of the bills under consideration by Georgia lawmakers this session.
One proposal would give sex assault victims more power and hold state agencies accountable for quickly processing evidence. 11 Alive's Doug Richards explains how it could lead to faster arrests.
This is one of those rare bills at the Capitol that is backed by both Republicans and Democrats. Its sponsor thinks that its passage would make Georgia sort of the gold standard for managing sexual assault cases. When a person is sexually assaulted, the physical evidence is gathered from the victim and kept in what's often called a rape kit. 5 years ago, the legislature passed a law requiring rape kits to get DNA analyzed within 30 days, addressing a stunning backlog of untested evidence. Yet the backlog was a huge challenge. 2 years ago, there were still nearly 2,400 untested rape kits in Georgia, with the GBI getting 250 new cases each month.
Survivors of sexual assault will benefit.
Democrat Scott Holcomb is behind the bill, which would create a statewide rape kit tracking system, which would update the location and status of each rape kit on a website accessible to sexual assault victims. And it would require yearly status reports to state agencies. Holcomb says his bill would let victims and their advocates hold law enforcement agencies accountable for sexual assault cases that have often lingered way too long.
So by having a tracking system that will follow the evidence from the hospital all the way to the courtroom, we'll know exactly where it is each step of the way, and we'll also know the results of testing and if it's matching to any perpetrators so we can bring prosecutions.
Holcomb was behind the landmark rape kit law that was enacted here 5 years ago. He's hoping that much of the same Republican leadership that helped enact that law will also help pass this one.
Thank you, Doug. 11 Alive has been a leading voice holding the powerful accountable for untested rape kits over the years. Our investigations help spark a nationwide push to address those backlogs. You'll find our previous stories on our website, 11alive.com.